Aufliede mir erfolgen, Folgen erlegen, legen another.
Okay. At least I understood that last part. Do you have the same feeling? Sometimes you're just watching Bleach and some idiot is spouting German nonsense that is not actually German. Do not fret. Today we will rectify that because today I'm going to talk about all the German terms in Bleach and what they actually mean, perhaps. So the plan today here is that we will look at all the German terms that are used in Bleach, and I will explain to you as a native speaker what they would mean for a German, how we could perhaps do them better, like improve some grammar perhaps, because that is sometimes necessary. And of course, I will also do some special treats by translating Quincy techniques that are not German into German. So I hope you have some fun with that.
Aufliede mir erfolgen, Folgen erlegen, legen another.
Yeah, okay, this one. We start with the weirdest one yet. I still don't know what they smoked when they did this, so let me again pronounce it in German as best as I can because this is not German. Like I can basically not understand what this is. Like with some words I understand what they mean, but I will try to translate it best I can, of course. But we will just try to pronounce this hell. Aufreide, Meer, Wolken, wollen Regen. Regen Nebel, sieht Ballen, umsieht Ballen. Wir gut Freund, danach Front, Dil Becher, los. Okay, so that did mean basically almost nothing. So the first part is Aufreide, which is probably meant to be Aufreiße. It is basically what Mayuri Zanpakuto command is, like tear off, or it's like a very I think in this context, because he's talking about weather and clouds and stuff, sometimes we Germans say the clouds are tearing off. It is a very flowery description of saying, yeah, it's raining cats and dogs. It's basically that saying, but translated a bit weirdly, you know? So Aufreide is in this context meant as, yeah, heavens start raining, go. And then we talk about Meer Wolken. I don't know what that is supposed to be. So it's probably Meer zu Wolken, which means ocean to clouds, which is like basic transformation of weather. Then there is Wolken Regen, which is again Wolken zu Regen, so clouds to rain. And then there is Regen zu Nebel. I'm correcting it already. Fog, rain to fog. So that is basically the first part. So the first part of the Bankai sealing spell is basically telling you that there's something ripping off or tearing off, and it's about the ocean becoming clouds, becoming rain, becoming fog. So it's like this transformative cycle. I don't really know why it's this transformative cycle, what it means. Perhaps it is because the Bankai that they steal are first like run through several processes to make them like foggy, to like take them away, you know, because like an ocean is harder to steal than fog. Did that make sense? Probably didn't even make sense what I just said, but perhaps you get the gist. Then their next part is called Sieht Ballen sieht Ballen. So this is hard. I don't know what they really mean. It is probably something, if I use correct German, it would probably mean Sie ballen sich umeinander, which is probably, it's like they gather around each other. So I guess the clouds are gathering around each other in the spell. I don't know. So the cloud parts now is gone. So we are now talking about something completely different because our good friend Eban, Asquero Eban, is just saying now, wir gut Freud. I don't know. So this might mean two things, because the Freud thing might be a mistranslation of friend, or B, a mistranslation of joy. So we are joyous, or we are good friends. Those are two possible translations of that. I don't know what it is because it's too butchered. I'm sorry. And then the next part is danach front del Becher. I don't know what they mean. It's like after that, friend in cup. Like it's a drinking. It's something like a drinking toast you do. I guess that's what is conveyed. And then the last part is los, which is go, which is I think the translation is pretty accurate. Los is something we say when something is set up and then they say los and then something starts. It's like if you have a race, the person will say 3, 2, 1 los, which is like 3, 2, 1 go. Like this type of thing it is. So I actually don't know why this is the Bankai stealing. I just don't know. So it's about the cycle of rain and droplets, and it's about something gathering around itself and something ripping open, perhaps not even the clouds, but something else is ripping open. And then, yeah, we're all friends. Let's have a toast. Go. I don't know that. I don't know what that means. But that is my best I can do. And this is the weirdest one, so you've lived through the weirdest one.
心配するな。この影は選ばれし者しか隠さない。
Yes, so in this scene, Asguero Eben says this shadow only hides the chosen. And because we have this word later as a German word, I will translate this. So he says the shadow only hides the chosen. And the correct thing was, if we say that Quincy's only used German, it would mean Schatten, not shadow. So he would, if he was a real Quincy like me, he would say the Schatten only hides the chosen, which is the same, but it sounds cooler. And I don't know why they don't go with the German word, because later it will come up. So it's like shadow means Schatten.
石田流のハイリヒプファイルが私より弱い。妙ですね。
Yes, so in episode 3, we started with the great Heiligpfeil. So that is holy arrow. And this is something interesting in German, actually. So in German, you can just put two nouns and just squash them together, and you will get a new word, and it's mostly valid in most cases. So they squash together Heiliger and Pfeil. So Heiligpfeil is something you would I don't think a German would say that. You would say Heiliger Pfeil, because heilig means holy. It's an adjective, and you would normally separate them. But if you want to be artsy, some artsy Germans do it, like they pull these things together, as I said. So Heilig Pfeil means holy arrow, sacred arrow, and holy is actually like this kind of holy is like purely associated with church in my mind. Like it's not, because it just means everything holy. But in the German tradition, if I say something is holy, I always think of like something Christian, which is important, I guess, because the Quincy's are based on Christian mythology a lot.
Quincy 列としているという名で。
Yes, so this one is a pretty prominent one in the Soul Society arc as well. Quincy letzt Stiel. So Quincy is of course Quincy, and the other thing is letzt Stiel. So this is again something like the Heiligpfeil. It is like pulled together. Normally in German you would say something along the lines of letzter Stiel, and it means something like final, last, style, like final or last, and style in fighting style. Like this kind of a style is like it means the last resort fighting style, something like that.
教えておいて差し上げましょう。この姿の正しき名は Quincy Vollständig.
Yes, so this one also a very, very, very big one, of course. Quincy Vollständig. Some people would say if you slur it a bit in German, because the G in the end of Vollständig, some say it like vollständig. It's they pronounce this in the end. I actually, fun little story. I had a German teacher, so he was or she was like reading a text, and we had to write it down without seeing it. Of course, like it was an assignment we sometimes had in school, and we got marks for it. And she was always pronouncing this kind like vollständig, and everyone was writing, because you normally would write a ch there in German, and the g is normally you would say vollständig. That's what it says, but if you slur it, it's vollständig. And yeah, so if you ever hear someone say vollständig, that's a very, very like it's basically a slur. It's not good German language. But what it means is Quincy complete or whole or final. Like it is actually similar to that. It is the final form in a way, because vollständig means the completed thing. It also implies a bit of finality as well. Like if you say something is vollständig, in my mind, I don't know if it's just me or if it's the language, but if someone says vollständig, it is something that is like whole. So it's more like whole and not complete. Like it's something is made whole, something is made perfect, which also would make sense because Let's Steal does not have it. Like Let's Steal is just the last resort, and vollständig is like the refined, perfect whole thing in the end.
第一ヤークトアルメより入電特機戦力黒崎1号が引き続きキルゲオピーと交戦中
Yes, this one, Jagdarmee. Jagdarmee means something like the hunting army. And this has two possible connotations to it. Jagd being the one thing that is a bit disputable here. Armee is pretty run-of-the-mill army. Like that's literally army, and like it's the same thing. But Jagd might be two things. So first you might have a more literal translation, which is like hunting army, in the way that you would hunt down foxes with like on horses. Like that is a hunt. I think there's another term in English for that as well, but something like that, like very like hunting something down. But the Jagd is in German also a term that is often associated to military strike parties. Like there is Jagdpanzer. I hope you know what Panzer is. It's tank. Yeah, it's tank up, whatever. So Jagdpanzer or Jagdflieger, like hunting plane, something like that. So Jagd is something of the strike force. Like Jagdarmee is like probably most accurately, I would say to me, translated as first strike force, something like that, which also makes sense in the manga because it was the first strike force that went into Huacumundu and that killed Gilad, of course. Oh, this one, man. When the manga came out and we had these weird translations from Japanese, this one was really weird for me as a German, because normally, so it is pronounced Sternritter, but my German language feeling, my intuition would I would have written Sternenritter, because this is again this weird compact thing, like with Heiligpfeil or with Letztstiel. It is like Sternritter. It's like these weird compressions that no one would use. It is it is if I would say in English Star Night without the R, or Stars Night or something like that. Like okay, Stars like might work. Yeah. The name, of course, is because of the Quincy cross, which is a 5-pointed star. So they are the knights of that star, the knights, the badasses of the Quincy, of course. But yeah, my German language intuition would tell me it is called Sternenritter, but Sternritter is also very, very good. Like you can also say that, like you would be understood. Like you wouldn't, because it's not a word. Like there are no Sternritters in the world. Also, something very interesting. I've seen that in some of the episodes I watched through to see and spot the German terms. they use a plural with an S and you don't. Like Sternritter is singular and plural. So if you have two, you have two Sternritter. Like there's no S there. Like in German, Ritter is singular and plural. It's knight. It's both in singular and the plural. It means or it is called Ritter. So the plural still, if they have a whole army of Sternritter, it's a whole army of Sternritter and not a whole army of Sternritters. You know, that makes no sense. That's not German.
バンデンライヒはこれよりソウルソサイティへ進行する。
Wandenreich. Yeah, so this is pronounced Wandenreich, Wandenreich or Wandenreich, a bit slurry, Wandenreich. Like if I would use it in everyday language, which I don't because I'm not a Quincy, I would say Wandenreich. But it is like if you want to be clean, it is Wandenreich. Reich, of course, I don't have to explain that because otherwise I will probably get demonetized because of the detections they have going in YouTube. But Wanden is very weird. Like, it is probably, they probably mean, or Kubo probably means walls. Like it's empire of walls, something like that. It means something like that. So like we have the Reich because ch again, like with the vollständig, the slur, it's the same. Like it's Wandenreich, very very soft. It's not hard. Like if I see a movie where they talk German, they always go Reich, Reich. It's like no one says that. It's rubbish. It's Reich, very soft speaking. Which is, I think, if they would do that in movies, it would be even more menacing because it's so soft. Like we are having the Reich. You know, it's deceptively smooth, which makes it more eerie. So yeah, how would I translate this? Like, how would I rectify that? That's actually hard. Like I would probably say Wendereich is the correct way a German would say it, but I don't know. So there is something I also noticed. Sometimes they translate it with invisible empire, which is rubbish. No, that's not what it means. That would be the unsichtbare Reich. Like that would be the unseen empire, something like that. But they don't. That's not what they say. Like sometimes it is translated as invisible empire. No, it's walled empire because it's walled off. Because we also have its counter later in this vocabulary lesson, which is another Reich. And that Reich is not walled off, like it's in the open and it's thematically counter to this one. So I think Wandenreich, Wendereich is more, yeah, is more on point there. But it basically means like it's an empire, but it's like walled off. You can't get in, you can't get out. And it's almost like figuratively spoken, an empire only consisting of walls. If I would be very, very, very extreme with the interpretation.
スクラベライ。これはクインシーの基本能力である霊視の収束を極限まで高めた。
Yes, this one as well. Sklaverei. I love that in the anime they use Sklave and then do a space and then Rai, which makes it look more magical, but no, it just means slavery. Like it's just the name for slavery, which is, I mean, that's on point because the Raishi slavery is like they slave Raishi to their will and make it do what they want. So Sklaverei is, of course, something that is, yeah, and it has a very, very, in German as well, it has a very sick taste to it when I think about it, you know, because of history, of course.
2つ目は彼がブルートと呼んでいた能力で自らの血管の中に直接霊視を流し込んで攻撃と防御の能力を飛躍的に上昇させます。
Yes, Blut. Blut is a very, very important thing for the Quincy's. Blut is just blood. All I can add here is that something I found a bit interesting is that the way Blut is used later, and some other terms that will come up are used. Blut also has this connotation of bloodline. Like it's not the blood that's dripping out, just more figuratively like the bloodline. Though I have to say, in the context they use it in this episode with the blood techniques, it is more like the blood in your veins. But it also has this like second connotation of bloodline in it, which I get. Like it's just more like it's the association I would get sometimes with blood. Like in English, you have the same thing. Like if, for example, in Game of Thrones, they say "blood of my blood," you know this bloodline connotation it has. It has that the same in German.
これは乱争天外。
行かせはしませんよ。
Yes, this one, Ranzo Tenga. I wanted to add this because this is not a German word. This is a Japanese word. So I wanted to see what it actually means in German. So now get ready for the German version of Ranzo Tengai. The German version of Ranzo Tengai is, I'm sorry, I wrote it down, himmlischer wilder Marionettenanzug. That sounds stupid and really, really, really rubbish in German. So I don't know how it sounds to you. Like I said, I will say it again, and you can tell me in the comment if you like. For a German, it sounds silly, but perhaps it sounds cool to you. So I will read it again. Himmlischer wilder Marionettenanzug. So I don't know. So what it means is, and I looked up what the Japanese meant, and I translated that into German. So the meaning is a heavenly, wild, savage clothing of a marionette. And I don't know if a marionette is a word in English, but it is like a puppet you have on strings, which is what Ranzo Tenga is, because like they play themselves as puppets. And we again have this heavenly connotation here, like this as well. Like when I think of himmlisch or heavenly in this context, I think of Christian imagery. But these Christian connotations I get or associations in my head I get are perhaps because I've grown up in a Christian area, and like the things I grew up with, the Bible. Like I didn't like grow up just hearing the Bible stories, but I heard them. So like it's like heavenly, the heavenly choir, like something like that is something I would like. Something like that is himmlisch. Like so Ranzo Tenga also has this himmlisch connotation, like heavenly. Like it's not heavenly like in heaven and earth, but heaven as in God's realm, Yes.
お前は帰って陛下からのダーテンを読み直せ。
Yeah, here Asnod is of course talking about data. So did you not read the Daten of His Majesty? That is like Daten is the correct plural form in German. It's the plural of, oh right, you don't have a singular. I don't think you have a singular for that in English. Do you have a singular for data? I don't think, or is it a singular? I'm not that sure, but in German there is it's only plural, so it's only a plural word. So there's only Daten. But in this situation, I would have probably chosen something like Datenmaterial, something like a data material of His Majesty, because just the Daten of His Majesty, what that actually would mean is like the if you have, I don't know what the English term is, like let's say you have a car and you've got a sheet where it says like this is how much PS it has, this is how old it is. That's the data. That's the Daten of the car. So if you say the Daten of His Majesty, it technically means like you look at like his I don't know age and like what he likes, and this Daten. It's like at least it can mean that in German. It's like that's a meaning it can have. Like it implies that it's the data sheets, the Datenberichte or something like that, but it is what it is on the anime. It's cool though. It's a cool, nice little thing.
千年ぶりじゃな、ユンハバッハ。お主の息の根を止めに来た。
Oh god, this one. Yeah, man, this one was such a cluster frick. Like when the chapter dropped, where the name, like, so there was the chapter, it was a cliffhanger in the chapter, Yamamoto lands, Yuaka's Kenpachi, like by the throat, like he comes down, and it's been 1,000 years, and then this name. And there were, I think, 3 scanlation translation sites when I read it, and all of them had different like writings of the name. No one knew what he was called. how he was pronounced. It was such a clusterfuck. So the first version actually was, and I will go through all the versions because final version is also a bit iffy. So you could say it means Johann Bach. That was the first translation actually that came out. Johann Bach is a composer. And it also fits a bit because it's like a very traditional German composer, very famous one like Johann Sebastian Bach. So it was Johann Bach. So that was a very cool thing. And I was like, yeah, that really fits. That's cool. Like he used the composer's symbolism because he also later uses the church song, the Kirchenlied. Made sense. I don't know. But yeah, no, that wasn't his name. So the next one was Iwach or Iwak. Because it sounds, because it has the CH again. So I'm sorry, this is so hard to, like, you've got a Y, which is E, you've got a W, which is V, and you've got a CH, which is Iwach. So, like, how to pronounce that? And they pronounce it currently as Yuhabach or Yuhabaha, but so for me, he's also mostly Yuhabaha, but I sometimes pronounce him as Yuwak. So you might have noticed that in my reactions. But that's basically his name, but. And this is the thing, I always was confused by why they didn't, or what the ideas, I think. So you've got the Hebrew God, it's a Y, an H, and a W. And I don't know which order, but it's basically that. So it is the Hebrew God. And I don't know, okay, this is a bit of story time, and it's not really German, but more like Hebrew history, but I don't know if you knew this. So the story is, at least that's how I learned it in school. Don't know how true it is. If I'm wrong, of course, correct me in the comments. So the story is this. So the true name of God was always translated mouth to mouth to mouth to mouth and was forbidden to be said because of the first commandment. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I learned. So they like transferred it down the line, and then they sometimes wrote it down in a what would you say? It in a non-dangerous way, because they thought if you say and write his name, it brings bad luck. So they wrote down like a shortened version. So they took out all the vowels. Or it might also have been that the Hebrew language only has like these consonants and the vowels are something like transferred orally. One of those two things, I'm not sure anymore. Anyway, so his name was like brought down the generations and was always in the end YHW or YWH, some of that, one of those two. And I think it is YWH. And what they did is like they lost the meaning and then they added random consonants. And I think today it is Yahweh, which is not the real name, of course, because it's just something I think they made up. I'm shaky on this one, okay? Like, might be wrong, but that's what I learned. So it is basically Kubo also like added vowels and stuff in there to make it a word to be pronounced. And he wanted to distinguish it from the Yahweh, of course, because that might like trigger some people, of course. You know how it is nowadays. But so he also took his own perspective on the name. So you could say, but I think Yuhabach. Like it's almost like they do it in the show, but the ch again very soft. Yuhabach. It's a weird sound. I just noticed that. German is a weird language. Oh, yes. Now we are getting to the fighting techniques. So the first one here he used against Yamamoto to have the ultimate defense, a good old Lloyd, some of them. One of the two. I always confused who it was, who fought Yama. Anyway, so Kirchenlied Sankt Zwinger. So the first part, Kirchenlied. Again, you have the CH, this like very soft. So the first one is like church song. But what it means is like the song you sing in churches. Perhaps even gospel. I'm not sure if you can translate it as that. but it might also, I think it's also, it could mean something like the song you, if that's the song you sing in church, like gospel, if that's the one. I don't know if it is actually. I would have to look it up if that's the English term, but like it's this thing you, like if you go to church, you've got your book and you sing something from the book. That's what you sing, like the verses and the melody is called Kirchenlied. The second part is Sankt Zwinger. And this one is actually, I really like this one. This one is really interesting because it again has this very Christian connotation because Sankt means a saint. Like there are mountains in Austria that are called Sankt. Like there's the Sankt Gotthard, like the Saint Gothard mountain, and it's just like this saint, like Saint Peter. Like Saint Peter in German is Sankt Peter, you know. So it's like the saint person, and Zwinger, like it's very like a snake. You pronounce it like a snake. Zwinger, like very sharp. Zwinger. It is. It has, I would say, two meanings. Like the meaning, there's a literal meaning and there's a commonly used meaning. The commonly used meaning is like a dog cage. Like there is like the like in Germany, I think some people had it a lot in the past and some still have it. Like a friend of mine has it as well. Like there's this cage outside the house where the dogs are kept, and it's called a Zwinger. That's what it can. That is what it can mean. But I always thought about this one. What would be more cool is if you interpret or translate it a bit differently. It is called something like enforcer or forcer. It's someone who forces you to do something. So Sankt Zwinger would then mean the saint of forcing, you know, and that is a lot more cool, I think. So the whole thing is like gospel saint of forcing, which basically means that the technique is like this holy song you utter to create or to appease this deity or prophet, probably prophet. So you appease to this prophet, so they will give you their power, and he appeases. So Lloyd or Royd, whatever, appeases to the prophet that is responsible for forcing things here. So he will probably force everything asunder in that circle, which I mean fits. So I think that's probably what Kubo intended with it. Oh, yes, the name of the three Quincy. So the Quincy girl didn't appear here. Still wonder who she is. We don't know. But so the three here are called, so they are not German names except for once, but I will translate, pronounce them in my, like how I would as a German. So the first one is Seidlitz. The next one is Argola. And then we have got Hubert. So Hubert is actually a German name. Like there are, then again, it's actually like this random German name. Like in English, you would have Jack or Kelly or John. Like Hubert is a very old German name like that. So that's pretty funny. And Argola, I don't know what that means. It like I have no clue. And Seidlitz is also just cool sounding. But Hubert is like, you could run into a Hubert in Germany. You couldn't run into an Argola or Seidlitz. Don't know what they are about. Still want to know what they do, what they did. I want to know what the girl did, who she is. She's cool. Anyway. Yeah, so this guy, I just wanted to like he also has a name that no one has, but I wanted to do this one because I was reminded of Dragon Ball, where like people are called briefs and stuff like that. And this is like for a German man, this name is so what the frick. So it is pronounced Haschwald. And the second part can be interpreted in two ways, I think. Wald might mean a very ancient way of writing the German word for forest, Wald, just, but it also might be short for Walter, which is the normal German name, which was previously like written with a TH and not only a T like it is nowadays. Like way back when it was written with TH. So that might be a play on that. But the funny thing is the first part, because hash means it's a term for marijuana. So that's pretty funny. So he's like, if you would be like if you would be really mean, you could translate his name as a marijuana forest. What? Yeah, I think that's funny.
進めゾルダート
Yes, this is cool. So Soldat means a soldier. Literally, like, I think it's basically the same meaning. Just same thing to point out if you're really interested in the German, the plural form is Soldaten, not Soldats. That is wrong. Like you say Soldaten. So Haschwald always says advanced Soldat. Like that's weird. You would say advanced Soldaten. Like go Soldaten. Go soldiers. Because like you would like the way he said it is like advance soldier, like in the singular. It's so weird. I always thought that it was weird. But yeah, it just means soldier.
バカなこれはブルートベーレか
Okay, here we get a bit more into the Blut stuff. So we've got Blutvene and Blutarterie, which they always do with a space. And that is very unusual. You would like write them together. Like this is an instance where you would actually push the words together like I discussed earlier, where they did it incorrectly, to my knowledge. But here they should have pushed them together, like, or used the double dot. I don't know what it's called in English. That would also be okay, but you can't just have Blut and Vene. That makes no sense. You either have the double point thing, whatever it's called in English. I'm so sorry, I don't know. Like you can have that one, or you can push together, say Blutvene and Blutarterie, which means a blood vein and blood artery. And I mean that is their defense and attack, so it makes sense. Like one is from the heart, the other is away from the heart. And yes, I don't have a PhD in medicine. I don't know if that's actually the correct thing. Don't know if that's how the heart works. It's also just something I learned in school. So it's like Vene is like, I think, away from the heart. So I think defense, and to the heart, like advancing is attack, Blutarterie. Yeah, so that is the Blut stuff. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I also like that that's their ability. Also, I like the effect they have in the anime with the flickering lines. Oh yes, this one. This one was awesome. This one is an anime only edition, and I never saw the translation in the manga. So Qualkreis. Qualkreis means like circle of suffering, or like Qual is very terrible suffering. It is all like it's the thing you get when you're tormented. Like I would say it is something like it's the worst kind of suffering, like the suffering you get from torment. Like it's not any suffering. You can use it with other suffer as like translated as suffering in general, but I think the way I understand the scene and the way he uses it, it means this is a circle I create where you suffer through torture. Like that's the meaning he uses here, and that's what I think it means. Like it's not just any suffering; it's very, very painful, horrid suffering. So, yes.
お時間です。陛下、シャッテンベラヒ県外での活動見解です。バンデンライヒへお戻りください。
Schattenbereich. Yes, this one as well. Like this harkens back to the Schatten I was talking about earlier. So Schatten means shadow. So I don't know why Eben doesn't say Schatten. No clue. They use it here. So Schattenbereich means shadow area, shadow place, shadow domain. So a Bereich is like an area that is destined for something. I think it's a bit shaky, this translation, but it's a special kind of area. Yeah, it's like area domain, like it's a setup area, which also is in line with. I mean, it was set up because they wanted to flee, and the walls of the Wandenreich were created around the Schattenbereich or in the Schattenbereich. Like it's this metaphor of they took a place and they walled it, and these two terms like hint at that very heavily. Like Schattenbereich means that this is the area they live in, and the Wandenreich is like the walled empire they have in this area. I think that's the best translation.
では、精錬の様子はどうですか？
精錬はまあぼちぼちです。
Yeah, this one, Siren. I think in Japanese you would say Siren. If you are a German like me, you would say Siren, because again, it's an E and an I, which you pronounce I. So it's basically just the I. I just realized, like, if you have E, I, you just say the I. Like, you can, that's like, if you're learning German, it's just I. If you go down the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, it's exactly that sound, an E and an I. And confusingly, if you have just the I, it is E. You pronounce it E. And the E, like this one, I will probably put the spellings on screen all the time, so I just did a stupid thing and confused everyone. But yeah, the E, which is hopefully somewhere flying around here, that is called E in German, which is like, that's confusing. Like when I learned English in school and we like started learning the alphabet, like that switch was very hard for me. And yeah, but Siren, there is no German term for it, but I have created this Quincy term. It would have. And the Quincy term would be Heiligtraining, which is holy training. And I used their weird putting it together again. So normally you would probably say Heiliges Training, so holy training, Heiliges Training. But Heilig Training again would be their weird like compression of things. So I think it fit better. So if you wanna be cool and if you wanna talk to your other Quincy's about the Siren, you say, man, we're not Japanese here. We're German. We say Heilig Training. And then you've got it. Anyway.
お父様は
フィンフトフェルトです。
Yeah, this one is so cool. It is weird. It is called Fünfte Feld. This is wrong. At least in the way she said it. Grammatically, you would say Fünftes or Fünftenfeld. Like they are in the Fünften Feld, or they are in the, or this is the fünftes. I'm so sorry. This is the Fünftes Feld. Like it's the fifth field. Like fifth, I don't have to explain that, but field is interesting because there are a lot of ways this could translate to field or something like that. It could be a field you sow things on. So he might be farming. I mean, he looks like a farmer a bit, Token, but he's probably not farming. I think he's training though. So it is you would have a training field, like an area of training. So some kind of that. But Feld can also Feld also is a short term the military uses for a battlefield, like the same way as in English. But you wouldn't say we went to the battlefield. In German, you would just say, literally translated to English, we went to the field. So it has that connotation as well.
エヒト・クインシーとしての意志だけを守るために、ただそれだけのために、 自分を石崎に迎え入れようとしていることを知っている。
Yeah, this one, echt Quincy. Again, CH, yeah, this, you know, if you want to learn German, the CH is here. You learned that hopefully after this video. Echt Quincy. This is real Quincy, true Quincy, but the main association I have with this German term is that it is something true and not fake. That also, as well, like in the back of my mind, I have the feeling of the way they say it is, it's echt Quincy. It's not fake. It's the real deal. Something like that. That is the way real is understood here. Like it's the real deal Quincy. So it is, of course, Quincy's that are not mixed in with others that don't have the Quincy bloodline. And again, blood is like their blood is not mixed, you know. And here the blood has this more bloodline like meaning. So echt Quincy are the Quincy that are like direct descendants, not with a tainted bloodline, so to speak. And you also could say echter Quincy. You know, that would probably be what Germans would say again, because they squash together the words. They like Kuba seems to like to do that. But then again, in the translations, they also squash together the no in Chutaro's Banka, which confused me. So yeah, by the way, her Shika is Shigarami. So anyway, that is confirmed with the better Bankai translations now.
そしてその際の出撃も片桐たちゲミシュトに任せるのがしきたりだ。
The Gemischts or Gemischt Quincy. This is meaning mixed, but it's racially connotated in German. So this is like it's when I don't know why, and this might just be me and other Germans in the comments. If you're there, please tell me what you thought about this. Also, tell me about everything where you think I was wrong. Like I might have been imprecise somewhere, or my experiences and connotations might not be what you thought. But anyway, so my association with this is like from breeding. It is like if you breed dogs. I have this association with it. If you breed impure dogs, so to speak, they are like Mischlinge, which is like a term for dogs that are like interbred, and impure. So in that way, this means impure. Like it doesn't mean it; it implies it, as the same way as echt Quincy from just now implies pure Quincy, but it doesn't mean that. Like it's not the translation; it just has that connotation, you know. So yeah, so it's Gemischts is not a German grammatically sound word, pronunciation word, whatever. It would be Gemischte, the Gemischts, is you would say in German the Gemischten, and again the Gemischten Quincy or the Gemischte Quincy is something you would say in German, and you wouldn't squash it again.
あの日、クインシーの力を失ったからだ。
何が ?9 年前に何があったんだよ。
アウスヴェーレン。
Yeah, this one, the big banger that we also got in episode 25 and 26. Auswählen. Auswählen is a selection, but it's there is like there is, it's not natural selection, which is like more passive. It's a very active, conscious selection. Like I think of something like if you're at school and you are supposed to form two teams, and there are two children, and they go to the sides of the field or whatever you're on, and you're like, they will choose people to be on their team. That way of choosing, like we would call that wählen, auswählen, wählen. It's the short term for that. So, or also like how you or voting. Yeah, like if you vote the government. Auswählen of the government, like you choose the government, like it's something like it's it can have it at least a very positive vibe and positive idea about the thing you choose and not the things you disregard, which is in line with what it does. Like you choose people you want to survive, you know? So it's that kind of choosing. Yes, and that was Core 1. I hope you enjoyed it. So now we go to Core 2. And yeah, we will just continue and see what other great German terms we can learn to pronounce and perhaps what new Quincy vocabulary we learn today as well. Okay, so here we start very quickly in the episode, not even 4 minutes in, and we have Silban Cathedral. I don't know why they mixed this. So Silban is German and cathedral is obviously English. Silban is what their fortress is called, and Silban means silvern. Like it's almost the same. It's almost the same sounding. So it is weird because it is an adjective. It's a silver bow, like that kind of silver, and they just put that silver as a name. That's so weird. Like it sounds weird, but it also sounds kind of cool and warped in German. I don't know why. I really like that word. And cathedral would be Kathedrale. So Silbern Kathedrale would be the correct German version of this. And yeah, I guess silvern is because Silbern is because of the eyes and because of the silver of the Quincy cross. So it's like the silver palace.
シュリフトを与えよ。お前には私と同じ A の文字を。
Yeah, this one is so interesting because it's wrong. Schrift is a German word, and it's very closely linked to what they say here. It's very, very, very closely linked, but it's not the meaning. Like it doesn't mean letter. Schrift doesn't mean letter, and it is always translated as letter, but it doesn't mean that. So Schrift means writing, like it's writing or writing style or font, something like that. I like it. I still like it because it is. This is your Schrift. This is what I wrote about you, so to speak, or in your Wax case, I wrote into your soul because he etches the letters into their soul. So he scribes them into their soul, like script as well. I think Schrift could also mean script. So so it still fits, but it's not letter. Like sometimes the dubs or not the dubs, subs translated it with letter. I don't think that is the translation. It is like the script, like the script. I wrote something or I etched something into you. That is, I gave you a Schrift, like I gave you the writing, like I bestowed the writing onto you, like I wrote onto you like a book. That's why it still makes sense, but doesn't mean letter. Letter would mean Buchstabe, again with a great ch in the middle, Buchstabe. And that means letter. So A, B, C, D, E are Buchstaben, not Schrifts. But it is still a very, very cool thing. So the Japanese, like it is cool that it's called Schrift, but I mean, I'm repeating myself. Letter is not the translation. Oh, something as well that I just realized. Schrift also means Bible. But I don't think that's very, very very, very relevant here, or is it? I don't know. Just so you know, so Holy Scripture, like the Heilige Schrift is, so the Holy Schrift is the Bible. I don't know if you can see if that is of value to you, but just interesting because I just thought about church associations.
進行完了だ。ウリュウ、お前はカイザー下山を知っているか。
はい。
Yes, Kaisergesang. Kaisergesang. Gesang is very, very similar to Kirchenlied, though less religious. Like Gesang is like the singing, and I associate many people doing it. So it's like this singing they do, and it can mean two things. Kaiser means emperor, and this might mean two things in German. It might mean the singing of the Kaiser, or like of the emperor. So singing of the emperor, or singing about the emperor. You know, that I think the latter one is less likely, but like it would be more naturally translated as the singing of the Kaiser, you know, and with singing with like text, like he doesn't hum, like it's singing. He's singing a text to the emperor singing a text, and that's what he's like. The thing he sings is the Kaisergesang. It also fits because he probably sang it and he used it as a it is probably a prophecy. I still don't know how that came to be. He might have used Almighty to create it before it was taken from him. I don't know how. Like that would make the most sense, because the name Kaisergesang implies that it's from Yuak. Like this text that is the Kaisergesang, even though it's not sung in the anime, but it's a song, and it's this like it's sometimes these things Gesänge are like legends, or like old songs like that are transferred down the line. And many like poems are like in sung form in Germany as well, in German history. Like I don't know if you know the Erlkönig. Many child's poems, like they are sung down to children, so the stories they tell are sung down the generations. I don't know if that's correct grammar, but you know they are. So the tradition is from that, and so this is also in line with it, like the Kaisergesang. So it's like he sang this and they transferred it down, and so it's like this thing they have as a traditional anchor.
奪った挽回でその隊長を殺す。
Yeah, silbern, wörtlich Hall. That is very interesting. I know what they mean, but if I would translate it the way it's written here, it means silbern against silvern. We know that already. We've been through this. But wörtlich Hall, it is wordly echo, or echo of words, which is weird. I think they wanted to say wörtlich Halle, which means hall of words, which can be understood as like conference room. And I think that makes a lot more sense because we see them on the conference table. So I don't know, because why would they call their conference room wordly echo? Like it's more probably wordly hall, like hall of words. So this would be correct as wörtlich Halle.
万伝来妃皇帝補佐シュテルンリッターグランドマスターユーグラム・ハッシュバルト
Yes, this one. So Ugram is the Grandmaster. I don't know why that's not German. Like he should have a German like title. Like in German, Grandmaster means Großmeister. So the Grandmaster of the Sternritter means Sternritter Großmeister. If I do their pulling together stuff, or if I would like make it more easy to pronounce in more words, it's Großmeister der Sternritter. So Grandmaster of Star Knights. You know, so I thought I should give you the German title he probably has.
これより敗北者の処断を行う。
Ritter's Second Spire Execution Ground. Yes, this is a mix of English and German. So Ritter means, of course, knight. Knights here, so it's the plural form here, I guess, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. So here it's correct. It's Ritter is knights. So knights. So it's the second spire of the knights, the execution ground. And as I did before, I want to give you like the complete German version it would be. So if you want to say the second spire of the knights, the execution ground, you would say in German, zweiter Ritterturm, Schafott. And execution ground can also, like, I chose Schafott because it's like a more traditionally German, I guess, execution ground. But you could also say, if you want to be even more accurate, Richtstätte, so place of judgment. And with judgment, it is meant that you like end people there, like that kind of judgment. Yeah, I just wanted to give you the true Quincy version of that. Yeah, this one. I guess I skipped this in episode 1, or you used it before here. But what he's using here is, of course, Lichtregen, which is just rain of light. This is actually accurate. And again, signifying the holiness, the Christianity, the Christian influences the Wandenreich has. And yeah, I think there's nothing more to say about it. Uyu has been using that like forever, and he never did anything with that that really did damage. Yeah, I mean, against those soldiers he did, but well.
ホルソサエティとリヒトライヒの間に不可侵の誓いを結ぼうという話じゃ。
Yes, this one, the one I actually forgot to talk about when I recorded the original video. So you see future me now after the editing process, which took a long time. So if you're still here, consider subscribing, liking, and commenting because that helps out a bit. But anyway, Lichtreich. So this one is actually also very, very interesting, I think, because now that I've had time to think about it, there is something very cool about it I want to share. But first, let's just talk about the meaning. So the meaning is Lichtreich, which means if you translate it more literally, it is empire of light. We have Reich again, and we talked about that before. But there is something very, very cool with this one because Lichtreich is actually a word that I think either German authors or the German translators use a lot in fantasy stories. And Lichtreich, it means Empire of Light, but it also has this connotation, at least for me, area of light, realm of light. And I really think that that fits a bit better as well. So German people in the comments tell me if you think that as well, but Lichtreich has more of a feeling of realm of light. So in this context, of course, because you are conquer stuff, it is also Empire of Light, yes, but it has this taste of realm of light. For Schattenbereich, by the way, it can also mean area, a realm of shadow. But yeah, I would associate this realm translation for Reich Bereich more with the Lichtreich. And it is also Reich is also coming from or linked to Bereich in a way. So I think what is also a bit in these two translations, Lichtreich and Schattenbereich, is that it's like smaller. Like Schattenbereich is a lot smaller than Lichtreich, which has this glorious, pompous, vast association in my mind. And I also always think if I hear of Lichtreich in fantasy or mythic context, it's this glorious thing, this glorious empire, this glorious nation, civilization of light that brings forth hope and prosperity and will lead humanity or whatever race it is from into like salvation or something, like a very, 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 very positive vibe. But Reich is also associated with you know what, so that's also a very interesting twist. But yeah, that's all I have to say about the Lichtreich, and I really, really like this one. So I'm glad I spotted that I missed it, and yeah, now you can see the next one. Sankt Bogen. Now we're getting to the Ichibe fight already. So we are nearing the end. Sankt Bogen, same thing as Sankt Zwinger. So it's like saint, holy person, a prophet. So the prophet of the bow. So he evokes the prophet of the bow to help him create the bow that shoots him up again. So it's basically, yeah, it's a saint bow is the translation of Sankt Bogen.
掲げよ銀の紋章灰色の草原光にうずぶれた円環の道アウスベーレン
Ah, yes, this one. I thought this was really fun. This was an English chant or a Japanese chant in the original. It is the Auswählen chant, the Auswählen spell. And I thought it would be cool to translate that into German, so you would have the German version of the Auswählen spell. But first, let's go through it. What it might mean. I mean, it's a spell. Sorry. So it is, of course, about reviving the Schutzstaffel, raise them. This is like, of course, double meaning. You could raise like the crosses they have, or you could raise the dead. And silver emblems. I mean, it's, of course, the Quincy crosses. Ashen Meadows, circular path buried in light. I don't know why. I mean, Ashen Meadows perhaps because the meadows that Sanka no Tachi created, perhaps. A circular path buried in light. I guess it's like the cycle of life, perhaps, because it's light and it's holy, like the holy circle of life. Eye of Agate. I don't know. I had to look up what Agate was because I tried to translate it into German. It's just a mineral. It's a kind of mineral. So it's like a piece of jewelry. Tongue of gold. Don't know. Skull cup. Yeah, that's cool imagery. A coffin of Adinaeus. Adinaeus, I've looked it up as well. I didn't find that person. I think it's not a mythological figure, but seems to be just mythological Quincy figure. The object we raise is your heart, auswählen. Yeah, the object we raise is your heart. I mean, that will, of course, mean reviving their hearts, especially for Gerard's case. That's pretty cool detail. But yeah, now let's go to the German version. I will I will pronounce it and say it slowly with the words on the screen again. So you can decide if the German version sounds more badass than the English and Japanese one. And keep in mind, my voice is not that badass. So if imagine it with a more badass voice. So the German version of the Auswählen spell is: Erhebet sie, Silberembleme, ascherne Wiesen, Rundpfad in Licht begraben, Auge aus Agathe, Zunge aus Gold, Schädelkelch, Sarg von Adinaeus. Den Gegenstand, den wir erheben, ist euer Herz. Auswählen. I mean, that's the chant in German, so I don't know if that sounded more badass. So we're almost at the close. The penultimate thing is Blutvene anhaben. It's the technique that Yuwak uses against Ichibe. It's like the shield. It's basically wearing Blutvene like clothing. Like anhaben is the German version of wearing clothing. So it's like I have it on. I don't know if that's a thing. So I have it on my body, like having Blutvene around you, like, and it works. It engulfs Yuwak before Ichibe just F's it away with his Urahado. Yeah. Okay, the last one, Sankt Altar. This is the saint of the altar that he evokes here, and the saint of the altar is altar is the same in German as in English, I think. So he's basically praying again or invoking this prophet of altars of sacrifices. And in this scene, of course, he can take powers of other people and sacrifice them to himself, which is his whole thing. So that is a very cool technique. And I think I talked about it in my reaction of that scene, but I did not when I rewatched it. I was a bit sad I didn't point it out. But the technique he uses there, this is probably what they modeled the Bankai stealing medallions after. So he has this technique, and I don't know who is the technician. We still don't know that. We don't know who creates the Quincy technology. Is it Askin or is it BG9? I think it's one of those two, but I don't know who it is exactly. And that person probably modeled this after Yuwach. And I think that's actually pretty cool and a nice detail. And yeah, I don't know how they created it, but the Bankai medallions, Bankai stealing is probably also done under the name of Sankt Altar. Like, I don't know. Anyway, those were the German terms for Bleach in Core 1 and Core 2. I hope you had some fun with this, learned something perhaps. Tell me perhaps in the comments what you thought about this, if it helped you understand a bit more, if you found some new cool things to say. And yeah, it's pretty cool to listen to most of this as a German. And some of the things were really butchered, like there was a version of vollständig, which was written Vollstern dich, which means full star you, which is like gibbity gog, like to like mash together words, makes no sense. Like it's just like it is if I would say in English, go home field or something like that. Like it makes no sense to put these words. So vollständig is the true thing. Otherwise, it would make no sense. Yeah, and with that, this is the end of the video. As I said, consider liking, subscribing, commenting on what you thought of this. I am planning to do a Shutara Bankai analysis as well. And yeah, let's see if people are interested in that. Like, I will not dive as deep into it as I probably like I can't do like I can't look up a lot of stuff. Like I will read into some stuff to understand what it might be. Like some people have pointed out it's Buddhism and stuff. Like I will try to get a bit into that and tell you these ideas, but I will mostly try to analyze and think about what actually happened, which is I think something pretty awesome. And we've in the comments tried to figure it out. It was pretty fun. That's why I love these kind of things, these new things that are not like that are ambiguous. You can discuss them anyway. I hope you have a great day. As always, take care of yourself, please, and see you down the line in the next video. Bye.